Since 1987, MYCON's commitment to excellence has included a steadfast focus on safety. We expect our trade partners to actively contribute to a continuously improving safety culture on site because safety is everyone's responsibility. On behalf of your family and MYCON, thank you for your dedication to maintaining a zero-harm construction site. Together, we can ensure that everyone goes home safely at the end of the day. Welcome to the MYCON job site. Safety is everyone's responsibility, and your role is essential in keeping the site safe for yourself and your coworkers. You have the authority to stop work immediately if something seems unsafe and are encouraged to report hazards or concerns to your supervisor or MYCON staff. Together, we will maintain a zero-harm workplace. Employees and supervisors of trade partners are required to uphold a safe and compliant work environment by adhering to OSHA regulations, MYCON safety policies, and their company's safety programs. Trade partners are fully responsible for ensuring their teams are adequately trained, equipped, and compliant with all applicable standards. MYCON reserves the right to remove any individual or crew from the job site if serious safety violations are identified. Repeated violations may result in permanent removal or further actions, including termination of the trade partner's contract. Supervisors are expected to actively monitor and enforce safety compliance within their teams, addressing issues promptly to prevent violations. MYCON's role is to coordinate site-wide safety and enforce established standards. All visitors and trade partners are required to attend this orientation before being allowed to enter or work on this job site. Upon completion of this orientation, we will ask for your commitment to work safely. Follow all site safety rules, including adherence to OSHA safety standards, and sign the acknowledgement forms aligning with MYCON safety expectations for a zero-harm job site. Upon successful completion, you will receive a MYCON job site safety orientation hard hat decal indicating you have completed the orientation. Please affix the decal to your ANSI Z89-1 approved hard hat and ensure your PPE is free from damage and properly fits. If you have any issues with the fit of your PPE, report it to your supervisor immediately. Disclaimer: this safety orientation does not encompass all OSHA, EPA, state, and other applicable rules and regulations. It is intended to provide a brief overview of expectations on our job sites. Every worker has rights and responsibilities to ensure a safe and compliant work environment. Know your role in maintaining site safety. You have the right to a workplace free from recognized hazards that may cause death or serious harm. On a MYCON job site, every worker has stop work authority, which means, regardless of position, you can ask anyone on site to stop work if safety is a concern. You have the right to report unsafe conditions without fear of retaliation. MYCON has a confidential open door policy for everyone on site to report, in good faith, unsafe conditions. You also have the right to access hazard information, such as safety data sheets for chemicals on site. While working on a MYCON job site, you must be at least 18 years old. Be fit for duty, free from the influence of drugs, alcohol, or fatigue. Wear appropriate clothing, long pants and shirts with 4-inch sleeves. Clothing with offensive language, graphics, or inappropriate imagery is not permitted. Always wear personal protective equipment. Follow all site-specific safety rules. Stop unsafe work by exercising stop work authority. Report all unsafe conditions and refuse unsafe work. Follow your company's safety policies and procedures. Only smoke in designated areas outside the work zone. Never smoke near flammable materials or fuel storage. Stay clear of heavy equipment and use the appropriate class reflective safety vest near traffic and equipment. Safe parking and traffic flow are critical for job site efficiency and safety. Please follow all job safety signs and postings and park in designated parking areas only. Park only in clearly marked areas to avoid obstructing emergency routes or active work zones. Do not drive or park on landscaping. MYCON is not responsible for damages or theft of personal property, including vehicles, while on the job site. Vehicles may not be parked overnight on the job site. MYCON will not be financially responsible for towing fees or other charges related to the removal of vehicles in violation of site rules. Speed limit on site shall be 10 miles per hour unless otherwise posted. Only use designated entry-exit points for the site. Yield to pedestrians and heavy equipment. Heavy equipment must be parked in designated staging areas and locked when not in use to prevent unauthorized use. Equipment must not be parked with suspended loads and shall be parked per the manufacturer's requirements, including chalking the wheels on inclines to prevent rolling. Emergencies require immediate and coordinated action. Familiarize yourself with the Job Site Emergency Action Plan, EAP. The EAP is posted in the job site trailer or in another clearly marked location. The EAP contains evacuation routes, muster points, emergency contacts, and the nearest hospital locations. All trade partners' EAPs shall comply with MYCON's plan. MYCON will use an air horn as a means of emergency communication in the event of a site-wide emergency. Please pay careful attention to the following air horn commands. 3 short blasts. Evacuate to the muster point. 1 long blast followed by 1 short blast. Take shelter immediately. 1 long blast, 5 to 10 seconds. All clear. Return to work. In the event of an evacuation, proceed calmly to the designated muster points in the emergency action plan. Do not re-enter the site until the all-clear signal is given. All employees on site shall report to muster stations and remain there until dismissed. Safety meetings are essential for maintaining a safe and informed workforce by communicating critical safety updates, addressing site-specific hazards and controls, and fostering a culture of safety through active participation. These meetings must be conducted weekly before work begins, with additional talks required for high-risk tasks or changes in site conditions. MYCON may review safety meeting records to ensure compliance and effectiveness. Failure to conduct or participate in these talks may result in work stoppages or corrective actions. If you have any questions or need assistance, contact your supervisor or MYCON supervision. MYCON requires all trade partners to conduct and participate in daily job hazard safety analyses to ensure tasks are performed safely and in compliance with OSHA standards. Identify hazards associated with job tasks. Implement controls to eliminate or reduce risks. Ensure workers understand and follow safety measures. These analyses must be completed daily before work begins and updated whenever tasks, site conditions, or equipment change. MYCON reserves the right to review any JHA or JSA to ensure compliance with site safety requirements. Work stoppages may occur if a JHA or JSA is incomplete or if hazards are not adequately controlled. For assistance or clarification, contact MYCON supervision immediately. Accidents and near misses must be reported immediately and investigated to prevent recurrence. Incident types that require reporting include property damage at any level, near-miss incidents such as falling objects, crane failures, and safety system failures. First aid only injuries with no medical attention required. All injuries requiring medical attention and lost time. Chemical spills such as fuel, hydraulic fluids, oil. All incidents, including near misses, must be reported immediately to MYCON. Formal investigations, including root cause analysis and corrective actions, must be submitted to MYCON no later than 24 hours from the time of the incident. Fatal injuries, hospitalizations, loss of an eye, or amputation will require an expedited reporting process and formal notice to OSHA. Safety includes protecting each other from harm. MYCON enforces a zero-tolerance policy for workplace violence, harassment, and bullying. All incidents of harassment, bullying, or violence must be reported to a MYCON supervisor or safety manager immediately. Reports can be made confidentially. Any individual involved in workplace violence will be removed from the job site, and further action may be taken at the discretion of MYCON, including permanent removal. MYCON enforces a strict zero-tolerance policy for illegal drugs, alcohol, and weapons on all job sites. This policy is in place to ensure the safety and well-being of all personnel. If you suspect someone is under the influence of drugs or alcohol or in possession of a weapon, immediately report the situation to your supervisor and/or a MYCON supervisor or safety manager. Reports can be made to MYCON confidentially, and no retaliation will be tolerated for good faith reporting. The possession of firearms, knives, other than those used as work tools, or any other weapon is strictly prohibited, regardless of whether a worker has a permit. Exceptions are not made for personal vehicles parked on MYCON property. MYCON requires all trade partners to comply with OSHA Hazard Communication Standard. Trade partners are responsible for managing and communicating chemical hazards to ensure a safe job site. Submit SDS for all hazardous chemicals to MYCON before bringing them on site. Keep SDS accessible at the work area for review by workers. Label all containers, including secondary containers, with product name, hazard warnings per GHS, manufacturer information. Unlabeled containers are prohibited. Proper storage and handling of chemicals and fuels are essential to maintaining a safe and compliant job site. These guidelines ensure OSHA standards are met and risks are minimized. Clearly label all chemical containers, including secondary containers, with the product name, hazard warnings, and manufacturer information as required by OSHA Hazard Communication Standard. Store chemicals in designated, ventilated, and secure areas, away from ignition sources, heat, and sunlight. Separate incompatible chemicals like acids and bases to prevent dangerous reactions. Spill kits and containment systems must be easily accessible near storage areas. Up to 25 gallons of flammable liquids can be stored outside of a flammable storage cabinet. Quantities over 25 gallons must be stored in approved flammable storage cabinets or safety containers. Total storage must comply with local fire codes and NFPA standards. Use OSHA and DOT compliant containers, such as UL-approved tanks or safety cans. Ensure bulk fuel storage has secondary containment to prevent environmental contamination from leaks or spills. Properly ventilate storage areas to minimize the buildup of flammable vapors. Store bulk fuel at least 20 feet from buildings or ignition sources unless the area is fire-rated. Only use OSHA-compliant, FM-approved or UL-listed gas cans with self-closing lids, flame arresters, and spout caps. Gas cans must not exceed 5 gallons per container. Keep gas cans upright, sealed, and stored in flammable storage cabinets when not in use. Ground and bond gas cans during transport to prevent static discharge. By following these rules, you help ensure a safe and compliant work environment while reducing risks to workers in the job site. A clean and organized worksite reduces hazards, prevents environmental violations, and ensures operational efficiency. Trade partners are responsible for maintaining cleanliness and following proper waste disposal processes, including the handling of hazardous materials. Keep all work areas free of debris, tools, and materials that could create hazards. Remove trip hazards and other obstructions immediately. Secure loose materials during windy conditions to prevent debris from becoming airborne. Conduct regular housekeeping to maintain safe and clean workspaces. Trade partners must provide appropriate waste and recycling bins for their work areas. Ensure all waste is disposed of in designated containers and not left on the ground. Separate waste into general trash, recyclables, and hazardous materials as required. Dispose of hazardous waste according to local, state, and federal regulations. Properly label hazardous waste containers with contents and hazard warnings. Trade partners must document hazardous waste disposal and provide records to MYCON upon request. Illegal dumping or improper disposal of hazardous waste is strictly prohibited and will result in corrective actions. Clean spills immediately using appropriate materials and methods outlined in SDS. Notify MYCON supervision immediately. Contain the spill to prevent it from spreading or entering drainage systems. Arrange proper disposal of cleanup materials according to hazardous waste protocols. Trade partners are responsible to enforce housekeeping and waste management practices in their work areas. Ensure proper waste disposal, including hazardous materials, in compliance with regulations. Provide and manage waste bins as needed for their scope of work. Workers are responsible to keep immediate work areas clean and organized. Use designated waste and recycling bins. Report spills, waste issues, or illegal dumping to supervisors or MYCON supervision immediately. Maintaining a clean, safe, and compliant worksite is essential. All trade partners and workers must adhere to these standards to ensure safety, prevent violations, and contribute to an efficient work environment. Environmental hazards can pose serious risks to health and safety if not properly managed. Trade partners must ensure compliance with all OSHA standards and environmental regulations. Carbon monoxide exposure must not exceed the OSHA limit of 50 ppm over an 8-hour shift. If gas-powered equipment, such as generators or welders, will be used in enclosed or semi-enclosed spaces, you are required to coordinate with MYCON staff to review your ventilation plans before equipment is used. Use calibrated CO detectors to monitor the environment and report the readings to MYCON. Implement adequate ventilation to remove harmful gases. All trade partners must implement measures to control silica dust hazards, including using water suppression systems or vacuum systems during cutting, grinding, or drilling. Providing approved respirators, fit tested, and trained for workers exposed to silica dust. MYCON reserves the right to stop any activity generating dust until appropriate controls are in place. In high temperatures, shade and hydration must be provided by all trade partners for their crews during high temperature conditions. During severe weather events, follow the job site emergency action plan for shelter locations. Excavations and trenching pose significant risks, including cave-ins, falling materials, and hazardous atmospheres. MYCON requires strict adherence to the OSHA excavation standards. Protective systems, such as sloping, benching, shoring, or shielding, are required for trenches deeper than 5 feet unless in stable rock. Excavations deeper than 20 feet must have a protective system designed by a registered professional engineer. Trenches 4 feet deep or more must have safe access, such as ladders or ramps, within 25 feet of workers. Keep heavy equipment and materials at least 2 feet from the edge of the excavation. Inspect excavations daily and after any changes in conditions. Test for hazardous atmospheres in trenches deeper than 4 feet and provide ventilation if required. Unprotected trenches are not permitted. Workers must follow all protective measures to ensure safety. Ladders are a frequent source of falls and injuries on construction sites. They must be used as intended by the manufacturer. Use ladders appropriate for the job and ensure they are in good condition. Inspect all ladders before use for defects such as cracks, bent rungs, or missing components. Damaged ladders must be removed from service immediately. Always maintain 3 points of contact, 2 hands, and 1 foot when climbing. Place ladders on stable, level ground and secure them to prevent movement. Metal and non-commercial use ladders are not permitted on MYCON sites. Never use the top 2 rungs of a ladder. Do not carry tools or materials in your hands while climbing. Use a tool belt or hoist. Avoid leaning ladders against unstable surfaces. Never walk ladders, bending the ladder to move it without dismounting. falls are the leading cause of fatalities in the construction industry. And MYCON requires strict adherence to OSHA's fall protection standards. A written fall protection plan is required. Fall protection is required for any work performed at 6 feet or higher. A designated competent person is required to inspect all fall protection systems daily and address hazards immediately. Trade partners must provide appropriate fall arrest systems such as harnesses, lanyards, and anchors. Ensure inspections of equipment are performed as required by OSHA. Only allow trained personnel to work at heights. Guardrails must be installed along all open edges and meet the OSHA minimum height and load-bearing requirements. Floor openings must be covered and secured. All covers must be clearly labeled with the word hole or cover and must meet weight-bearing criteria. Hot work operations, including welding, cutting, and grinding, present significant fire hazards. MYCON requires compliance with OSHA standards to mitigate fire risks and significant fire hazards. All hot work requires a permit. Trade partners must submit a hot work permit request at least 24 hours before the planned activity. Ensure all conditions of the permit are met before beginning work. A designated fire watch is required during all hot work and for at least 30 minutes after work is completed. Fire watch personnel must be trained in fire extinguisher use. Remain within the work area to monitor for sparks or smoldering fires. Fire extinguishers must be located within 25 feet of the hot work area and be appropriate for the materials present. Flammable materials must be cleared from the work area or protected with fire-resistant blankets or shields. MYCON requires all trade partners to strictly adhere to OSHA electrical safety and lockout-tagout standards. Trade partners are responsible for de-energizing electrical systems before work begins. Lockout-tagout procedures must be implemented by qualified and authorized personnel, ensuring energy sources are fully isolated and verified before work. Work on energized systems is prohibited unless de-energizing is infeasible, and the trade partner has submitted a written energized electrical work permit to MYCON for review. And all necessary hazard controls, such as insulated tools, PPE, and barricades, are implemented. Energized electrical work permits must include justification for performing energized work, and hazard assessments and specific safety controls. MYCON reserves the right to deny permits if adequate safety measures are not demonstrated. The following are prohibited practices: performing energized work without an approved permit, removing or bypassing lockout-tagout devices, or performing work without proper isolation. Confined spaces pose unique hazards that require careful planning and oversight. MYCON's Confined Space program ensures compliance with OSHA's permit-required confined space standard. A confined space has limited entry and exit, is not designed for continuous occupancy, and may pose atmospheric or other hazards. Any confined space that contains atmospheric hazards, engulfment risks, or other serious hazards must be treated as permit required. Before entering, a written confined space plan must be submitted to MYCON for approval. Atmospheric testing for oxygen levels, combustible gases, and toxic substances must be completed and documented. Entry and rescue procedures must be established and communicated to all personnel. A competent person must inspect the confined space and oversee all entries. Workers entering confined spaces must be trained and certified in confined space entry and emergency rescue procedures. All entry permits, testing logs, and training records must be maintained and provided to MYCON upon request. Crane operations present significant risks, requiring strict adherence to OSHA Standards 1926 Subpart CC and the MYCON safety requirements. Only operators certified through an OSHA-recognized program are allowed to operate cranes on MYCON job sites. Certification records must be submitted to MYCON before crane operations begin. All critical lifts require a documented lift plan. The plan must include load weight calculations and rigging configurations, ground condition verifications, communication protocols and responsibilities for signal persons. Cranes and rigging equipment must be inspected daily by a competent person. Inspection logs must be submitted to MYCON weekly. Only authorized personnel are allowed in lift zones during crane operations. Barricades and signage must be in place to prevent unauthorized access for all lifts. Protecting hearing is critical for long-term health and safety. MYCON requires all trade partners to strictly adhere to OSHA standards regarding noise exposure. Use hearing protection when noise levels exceed 85 dBA. Follow the OSHA Hearing Conservation Program guidelines for high noise areas. Trade partners must monitor noise levels in their work areas. Train employees on the proper use of hearing protection devices. Scaffolding work poses risks of falls, structural failures, and falling objects. MYCON requires compliance with OSHA's scaffolding standards. Scaffolding must be erected and dismantled under the supervision of a qualified person. A competent person must inspect scaffolding daily and after any incidents that could affect its integrity. Fall protection is required on scaffolds more than 10 feet above a lower level. Workers must use proper access points like ladders or stair towers. Climbing cross braces is prohibited. Scaffolds must not exceed their maximum intended load and must be built to support 4 times the intended load. Only trained workers are allowed to use scaffolding, and any unsafe conditions must be reported immediately. Powered industrial trucks, such as forklifts, require proper operation to prevent accidents. MYCON requires compliance with OSHA standards. Only trained and certified operators may use powered industrial trucks. Certification must be available on request. Wheel chocks are required when parking on an incline or decline or while maintenance is being performed. Maintain safe speeds and avoid carrying unstable loads. Use the equipment as the manufacturer requires. Use horns and alarms in high traffic areas or blind spots. Unattended parking with suspended loads or suspended forks or attachments is prohibited. Man lift baskets are prohibited on MYCON sites. Operators must inspect equipment daily. Damaged equipment must be removed from service immediately. Safe operation of rough terrain lifts and forklifts protects workers and prevents job site hazards. Moving parts on machinery pose serious risks of injury. All machinery must have guards to protect workers from moving parts, such as belts and gears. Guards must remain in place at all times during operation. Guards must be inspected regularly. Damaged or missing guards must be repaired or replaced before use. Never operate equipment without guards in place or bypass safety mechanisms. Machine guarding prevents injuries and ensures compliance with OSHA requirements. Preventing musculoskeletal injuries is essential for long-term worker health. Keep your back straight and lift with your legs, not your back. Avoid twisting while lifting and use team lifts for heavy or awkward loads. Utilize dollies, forklifts, or hoists to move heavy materials whenever possible. Alternate tasks to reduce repetitive motion injuries. Report any discomfort or early signs of strain to your supervisor immediately. Please direct questions or concerns to your supervisor and/or the MYCON team. Thank you for completing the MYCON job site safety orientation. By adhering to these guidelines, you contribute to a safe, efficient, and productive work environment. If you see something unsafe, stop work and report it immediately. Your commitment to safety ensures everyone on site goes home safely at the end of the day. Thank you for your dedication to safety.